Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Putri Wulandari. My ID number 19114044085. Today I will explain about conclusion how to construct speaking test. The aims of language teaching course are very commonly defined in terms of four language skills: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. But what is the nature of this skill? By reference to the medium, speaking and listening are cited to relate to language expressed through the oral medium. By reference to the activity of the user, speaking and writing are cited to be an active or productive skill, whereas listening and reading are cited to be passive or receptive skill. According by Widowson 1985, further explain that the act of speaking normally in the course of natural communicate interaction involves not only the use of vocal organs to produce sounds, but also the use of gesture, the movement of the muscles of the face, and indeed of the whole body. All of these non-vocal accompaniment of speaking as a communicate activity are transmitted through the visual medium. When we think of speaking in this way, therefore it is no long true that is associated slowly with the oral medium. If we think of speaking as a way in which the language system manifests through the use of the organ of speech, then it is true that speaking is productive rather than receptive and operative through the oral rather than the visual medium. Language tests are practically intended to be a measure of how the tests are able to use language in real life situations. In testing oral productive skill, emphasis is placed on appropriateness rather than on ability to form grammatical correct sentence. Such communicative language tests are tools which make an effort to test language in a way they reflects the way that language is used in real communication. It is, of course, not always possible to make language tests communicate, but it may often be possible to give them communicate element. Number 2. How to mark speaking tests. Purpose and resource. Science oral productive tests can often be difficult to decide, administer, and mark. It is very important to make sure that the tester know in detail the purpose of the test and the available resource. According Underhill 1987 purpose, what the tester should know before giving a test is why actually he is doing he is doing it. Tests can be used to ask for basic kinds or question. The fifth aptitude test for language learning doesn't not as usually include our technique resource to make an assessment successful. We should design it to be carried out using the available resource. There are three different kind of resource: people to administer the test and also to mark or remark the test afterwards. Number two, available time in three-stage development, operation, and improvement. And three, physical facility, such as rooms and furniture for testing and sound or video recording equipment. Number two, test types. There, there are some general types of oral tests. There are cross-reference to the detailed description of election technique description in the next part. Number one, A self assessment. Self assessment is the easiest, cheapest, and quickest form of assessment. A learner does this by listening to himself as he speaks, by watching what effect it has on other people's appearance and behavior, and by the way they say in reply. B. Teacher assessment. The teacher is the person who has the most expensive of the learned speaking ability in the foreign language. Instead of being based on a 10-minute test, a teacher assessment will be based on 10 hours exposed to the learned language. C. Peer assessment. Student can assessment on another. This may be more reliable than self-assessment. This assessment can be done by listening to their friends when they speak and the way they behave and respond to their friends. D. Who does the learner speak to? The learner in an oral test has to speak, so who is going to speak to whom? Apart from tests record in a language laboratory, there are four possibilities of communication. Number one, learn, interview, or assessor. The learner speak to an interview or interlocutor who is also the assessor. This the most common and most economical, but it is difficult for one person to concentrate on assessing activity. Learn interlocutor. The learn speak to an interlocutor who is not involved in assessment. Number 3, learn. To learn, speak to each other to carry out a set of tasks. Will the assessor listen without intervening? Learn group. A group of 3 to 6 learn carry out a set of tasks together. E. A. The direct interview type. The direct interview is the most common and the most authentic type of oral test of normal purpose. Technique of this type are discussion or conversation, interview, form filling, and question and answer. V. Mechanical or predicate-bell test. Mechanical types. Mechanical or predictable test. Mechanical types test determine in advance what the learner is expects to say. There is a single correct answer. G. Recording oral test. This type of test has no live interviewer or assessor at all. It is usually held at language laboratory where several learners at once respond to pre-record stimuli heard through headphones. So that concluding by me about how to construct speaking test and how to mark speaking test. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.